So first of all, a very big congratulations to the whole team of Brahmastra for the perseverance and for the patience and for the wonderful, for the work. So very big congrats from Tamil Nadu.
Thank you.
So I refer them. So yeah, I'm here to resemble them. So yeah. So yes, and to start with the director, Ayan. So Brahmastra, what is the movie is all about?
Oh, big question. So, how much of a detailed answer do you want?
No, see, it's one of the most talked about films since the day it has been announced, and yours most anticipated. I mean, awaited a project of yours. So we just want to know at least the plot of the movie.
Right. Okay. So I guess before I tell you particularly the story of Brahmastra 1, I would like to tell you a little bit about the story behind the story.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So Brahmastra is a trilogy. It is meant to be 3 films. A fantasy, adventure, epic saga, with lots of drama, with lots of heart, lots of like cutting edge technology, never seen before visual spectacle. This sort of epic that we've crafted is inspired by stories and by the essence of Indian mythology. But the film is set in modern India. So, it is a completely new original film. In some ways, you can say that it's almost like India's first modern mythology. Okay, because it's inspired by a lot of stuff, but it's actually completely its own story. And the mythology that we've created around the film is that way back in ancient India, a group of astras were created, really powerful astras. And these astras were protected by a group of people that came to be called the Brahmansh. And the reason they were called the Brahmansh is because they protected the most powerful astra, the lord of all the other astras, which was called the Brahmastra. And generation by generation, these astras have been passed down, this knowledge has been passed down, these energies have been passed down. And in modern India today, the Brahmansh still exists. So that is the mythology and the backdrop, against which Brahmastra Part 1 unfolds.
It's actually creating a lot of curiosity for us. So, Ranbir, this is not actually a usual movie. It's a different genre, and it's a mythology and science fiction, supernatural kind. So, how did you adapt yourself for this role?
I think I was very lucky that Ayan enveloped us from day one. From the time that he was ideating the story, he constantly used to tell us about it, make us a part of his journey into the writing of the film. It's a very, very, I think the way he wrote it, the way he imagined it was so intricate and so complex that eventually it had to come out really simple. But there was a lot of work and a lot of ideating which went behind making it a simple story. So initially it was very hard. I remember that when we were starting the film, I had a lot of trouble to actually be a part of this world or believe my character or what was happening. And I used to get reprimanded a lot from him, that why aren't you understanding the story?
Can you share something about your role?
Well, I play a young man called Shiva. He's somebody who is comes in the middle of all of this that Ayan was talking about in the film. Someone who's blessed, at the same time is cursed. And it's about him discovering his journey to become a divine hero that he finally becomes. I think Ayan introduced or made us part of his journey from a very early stage to really understand the complexity of this story, because it's not a simple story. It's a very original story. It's not derived from anywhere. There could be inspirations from different gods, but I think the material was very original, and to understand something so original took a lot of effort, took a lot of time. I had to create some extra brain cells also to understand it, because sometimes it used to go beyond me. But then I think we reached a point, or I reached a point where I was just so astonished that how did this guy come up with this, or how did he think this through? And then it's been quite smooth sailing. I'm really privileged and I'm really blessed that I got this opportunity to work on this film, to play this part. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me as an actor, and I'm truly excited because it is India's biggest film as of today. There are going to be many more beyond this, but as of today, we are proud to say that it'll really represent our culture worldwide in a very true way, and I'm very excited about it.
Surayu, like a lot of these films that we would sort of club Brahmastra with,
Okay.
it's sort of its own thing. But let's say you think about like Hollywood, and you think about the Marvel films, you think about Avengers, or you think about
Bahubali.
Harry Potter. They are based on literature that already exists. You know what I mean? They've existed as books or they've existed as comics for many years. But when we set off to make Brahmastra, it sort of has that kind of scope and depth, but it's not based on anything. It's not had years of, it's not been written as a novel before. So that came with its own challenges, creating something that's completely sort of original. So yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but what we heard was it was titled as Dragon first, then it has changed to...
Yeah.
No, it was
So
never
is that
titled.
true?
It was always a working
It was a tentative title.
Working title.
Okay,
So
so,
it
who
was-
coined the title Brahmastra?
It came from so I'll tell you why it was called Dragon. Forgot to mention an important thing, I think. So in the film, Shiva's character has the power of fire within him, and because he's a man who creates fire, that's why my working title was Dragon, because he's the hero of the film and that's his power, his superpower, fire. But in its essence, as we were crafting the film is also about this one weapon, which is the deadliest and the most powerful. And as we know, one of the most powerful weapons from our own culture is called the Brahmastra in many, many different stories.
Okay, Alia, do you have any idea that, I mean, you are a darling of South India?
Oh.
Yeah, actually, yes. I mean, we all fell in love with you when we saw you in Rasi. Oh my God. And that's, Hey Watan Watan song is still trending and a lot of people are watching, and I fell in love with you from that movie.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
So coming back to Brahmastra, so it's not an easy thing to act in a mythology kind of a movie, a supernatural kind of a movie. So what were the challenges you, actually faced? What is your role in this?
So the film, part 1 of Brahmastra is Shiva. That is Ranbir's character. A very important part of Shiva's discovery and Shiva's journey is his love. Enter me, Isha. That's my character's name. When Ayan started talking to me about my character, it seemed very full of light. It was very like how Ayan calls me, sunshine, pure, beautiful, free. That's what Isha is. She's got something very light and like flowy about her.
Okay.
Which is probably why she even connects with Shiva. If you see in the film, the way they connect, it's straight out of a movie because it's in a movie, but it's a magical kind of moment when they both meet. Playing Isha was, of course, when I say challenging, I don't mean challenging as a personality. I loved her personality the minute Ayan kind of talked to me about the character. The challenging part of the journey was just the journey of being on this kind of quest and understanding of what this new world is, the Brahmastra, the Brahmanj, these astras, this world of magic, this world of wonder. Because it's like he said, it's a modern day mythology. So it's you and me sitting and having a conversation, and then I say, okay, listen, there's some magic happening in the next room, and there's something that you don't know and you don't know of. And we need to go and understand that. And we need to understand what connection you have with it. But only you're not the person I'm talking to to Shiva.
I understand.
So that is, if you sit in the way it was told, it's like, oh my God, I have no relation to this. This never happened to my life, in my life. Still I have to imagine it, and still we have to play it with that much conviction and that much understanding, and we need to, and a lot of the times Ayan would tell me that, what Isha is feeling is probably also what the audience is feeling. So I need to really see it in your eyes. So there was that added pressure as well, because I have to kind of communicate that. But to be honest, it was very easy for me because a lot of the times it's so clear in his mind that he just comes and tells you, this is what I want, this is the way I do it. So just for me to understand his language and put that conviction with all my belief, that's all I really needed to do. And we believe in the heart and soul and being of this the film and what it's trying to say. And it's not just one film, you know. So it's a much big, larger picture that we have to contribute to. Am I talking too much?
Okay, so coming back to the cast and crew of the film, so two big stars. I mean, it's a biggest star cast. So how did they come to the project? Nagarjuna sir and Amitabh Bachchan sir. So how was the experience and how did they come into the project?
It was a dream come true, yeah. Honestly, genuinely, like the parts were written. Mr. Bachchan's part was written for him. He is. In the film, he plays the head of the secret society that protects all the astras. He's called the Guru. There was nobody like Mr. Bachchan for it, you know. He was the dream cast. And when we approached him, and somehow something about the vision appealed to him. I guess he, you know, felt that it was very new and exciting, and he agreed to do it, and it was like amazing. And then we had this other part, also very, very solid part. And you know, Nag sir was like, we thought of him and I was like, this is a great, great thing if it can happen, and will he do it? Maybe he won't do it. And I went to meet him and he came on and he was so supportive and has been so supportive sort of throughout. So listen, it's amazing. And what I want to say about it is I feel very grateful for it. But Brahmastra has also had a lot of it. A lot of dreams came true like that. There were a lot of big things that we wanted. Now when I look back, even these two right here, you know, being in the film, the way that they've been in the film, Nag sir, Amit ji on top of it, where we've gone with technology on the film, some of the crew that's worked on the film, which has worked on some of the biggest movies, you know, in the world. When I was beginning, I had no idea if I would get there. So yeah, I feel grateful, and it makes me feel like if you work hard and if you have a vision, you can really, you know, accomplish stuff.
And the very sweetest thing is his recent tweet about the movie, and he said he felt very comfortable. He was treated as a king in the sets of Brahmastra. So how was your experience?
Well, he is a true
him?
king.
That's very sweet of him to say.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing guy.
He really we were speaking earlier, he really welcomed us, you know, his entire family, Amala ma'am, his son, Akhil. I think they just became part of not just the Brahmastra world, but just our world. You know, he constantly, we are in touch, he texts us when we
listen to his playlist.
We listen to his playlist, he sends us music.
Okay.
So I think we've really made a friend for life. You know, apart from being truly grateful for what he's done for the film, not just as an actor, of course, as an actor, but just as being a part of the film, you know, because he's such a big star that he can really open it up for us for, say, in the Telugu market, just being part of this film. So we are very grateful for that, but we are also even more grateful that he's become such a dear friend of ours.
Okay, and Alia, this story has a very intense love romance in this. I mean, it's not like a usual romantic love story. It has a very intense story, intense love that it touches the heart. So how do you differentiate this romance with the other movies? This is kind of very special, no?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak too much about the essence and the importance of the love story because it will be giving away too much of the film. But I can say that probably it is the greatest love story that I have experienced in cinema.
Okay.
And in real life.
Okay.
Because I actually fell in love. So that was all. I don't have experiences in any other film, so I can't compare it to any other film. But yeah, I always love love. I think I love love stories. I love watching love stories.
And we all love you.
Yeah. And I love the idea of love. I love the idea that you love me, I love you back. And it's the greatest feeling in the world, yeah. And when you watch it and then you actually experience it, and when you hear, even as to hear Ayan speak about the moments and all, it just gives you all beautiful feelings in your stomach, in your toes, you get goosebumps. It's all the right things. And while Brahmastra is about many, many things, there's a lot of love in making the film. There's a lot of love involved when you see the film, and we just want everybody to love the film. So it's love, love, love everywhere.
Yeah, our first tagline for the film was "Love is the light."
Yeah.
You know, and in many ways that is still the essence of Brahmastra.
Ayan, actually, making a pan-Indian movie, pan-Indian film is not an easy task at
Right.
all. So
It's not
it's
easy.
like huge budget, huge star cast, and biggest movie. So how did you manage the pressures? How did you handle all the struggles and stuff?
I went completely crazy. I'm a completely crazy human being. I am not normal. It's I don't know. There's no answer. I'm still in it. I think every director. It's not just me. When you're making a film, you're pregnant with that film. It's like a child that you are creating, and until you don't deliver that film safely, you're always looking out for your survival instinct is on. You're taking care of the film, and it's Brahmastra, as you know, has been a very long pregnancy. So, and it's not over. We're still in it. We still have to finish the film. I think I've done well. I've held it together, and I think we're in a good place with the film. But it's been very challenging, and it's taken a kind of growth and a kind of like character that I didn't even know when I signed up that it would need to finish it. And I just want to say that I'm grateful that things have worked out a certain way, that the film has become what it is become today, the way it is feeling and looking when we watch it. And I must have done something right, for it to get here.
And it's a trilogy again, and so
Yeah.
you have to carry the same essence for the next part also.
So I'll have to go crazy like 3 times over, basically.
So do you
You know-
you guys watch Tamil movies?
Of course.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of cinema from all over the world, and of course, big fan of Ajit sir, big fan of Telapati Vijay.
Okay.
Rajni
have
sir,
you
Surya
guys
sir.
watched Master?
Yes, of
They were
course.
watching Master.
Yesterday only we
Yes.
watched it.
Okay.
But yeah,
I mean, he's amazing. The kind
Ranbir
of
is very good with movies.
the kind of natural swag that he has as an actor, and just the kind of stories that the Tamil cinema is saying. It's engaging, it's entertaining. It also has so much of learning of life that they're giving through commercial cinema. And so I'm a big fan.
So one thing that you want to tell the Tamil audience about the movie, and it's the Brahmastram is a very welcoming title, as you
Right.
told, and I mean one element or one thing that you want to tell the Tamil audience.
Please
that
watch
they
it.
No, I think we want to say that this is there is a misconception that this film, because it's been spoken in the Hindi language, it's going to be dubbed in all languages, but that it's not a it's truly a pan-Indian film. This is not it's an Indian film. It's not a Hindi film. It's a film for every audience, and it's the Tamil audience's film. So I would only say that this is your film. There has
Okay.
to be that recognition and that ownership, and we want to give you that ownership. We want to give every single person in India that ownership over Brahmastra, because it is their film. And of course, we want the globe also to recognize it, but it's an Indian mythology. It comes from the heart of India and the soul of India. And that's all we want to say, that this is your film. So go out there and own it.
And it's definitely gonna be a super duper hit even in South. So lots of love from all of us, and
Thank you so
all
much,
the very
Rani.
best to all of you.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
and thank you
Thank
for
you.
being so sweet and so sport for answering all the questions.
Very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.